Welcome to Insurance with Hari. You should start young with Aspire. If you're under 35, according to me, it's one of the best insurance policies you can take. Invest your money at the right place at the right time. When we talk about health insurance, there is a golden rule that people miss. Start early. The Aspire plan by Niva Bupa is designed especially for people in their 20s and 30s. And it is not just about cheaper premiums. It's about getting access to benefits that grow with you and protect your future family. This plan doesn't wait for you to grow up. It grows with you right from the start. Miracle, covering parenthood if you start young. Miracle happens, a benefit that is rare in most health insurance plans. Miracle is a first of its kind coverage specifically designed to support your journey into parenthood, no matter how that journey unfolds. So what exactly does Miracle cover? Let's walk through the real life expenses and moments it's built for. Pregnancy related expenses, starting with the basic, all the scans, checkups, consultations and vaccinations during the pregnancy are covered. Delivery charges, whether it's a normal delivery or a cesarean, Aspire covers both with no hidden restrictions. Infertility and assisted reproduction, facing difficulties in today's day and age, most of the insurance companies don't even touch it, but Aspire covers IVF treatment as well. And in worst case scenarios, a surrogacy also might be required. The policy will also cover, under the Miracle benefit, the surrogacy as well. This is a huge relief for many families. And something when it comes to adoption, even if adopting a child, Aspire supports you. It covers up to 10,000 rupees for baby's health test before the adoption process. Newborn coverage from day one. Most insurance plans have a waiting period before a newborn baby can be added in the policy, but under Miracle, your baby is covered from the very first day. This is actually something which is very spectacular in this particular plan, which you can look at. Guaranteed issuance, and yes, your newborn gets guaranteed issuance under this plan. No medical underwriting hurdles, no rejections. This is what we mean when we say Aspire grows with you. It's not just a health insurance, it's a life stage insurance. Now, looking at one of the other smartest features of Aspire, the Booster Plus. Imagine you bought a health plan but didn't use up the entire coverage in a year. Normally, that unused sum insured disappears, but you won't face anything like that here. With Booster Plus, your unused Miracle sum insured is also carried forward to the next policy year, and it doesn't just sit there, it grows. Over time, your health insurance coverage compounds up to 10 times the original amount depending on your entry age and the variant you choose. So for example, if you start at a 10 lakh cover, it can go up to 1 crore 10 lakhs in the next 10 years. So instead of being penalized for staying healthy, you're rewarded for it. You build a health insurance reserve that becomes stronger every year, especially when you start young. If you are between the age of 18 to 35, your unutilized Miracle sum insured and the base sum insured can grow up to 10x. That is one of the reasons I said this particular plan from Niva Bupa is actually designed for the 18 to 35 year olds, because you get maximum benefit here and you get the 10x coverage. Because if you are between the age of say 36 to 45, you get only 5x cover. If you are above 45, especially when you're 46 and above, the growth is only about 3x. So for young people, Aspire is what my recommendation would be, with my experience of 25 years in the industry, in terms of a product which is best fit. How will Booster Plus on Miracle work? Let's visualize this with numbers, because once you see it, you will understand why Booster Plus is a game changer. Let's say you start with a 20,000 as your Miracle sum insured and you don't use it in that year. What happens next? That's how you will see that the number starts multiplying. So 20,000 will become 2.2 lakhs over time without paying any extra. So one of the things that people keep telling me is that, Hari, when you look at the Aspire plan, even for a 1 crore coverage, the maternity benefit is only 25,000. And 25,000 is very less. I mean, like, what will you in today's day and age, as we know very rightly, if you go to one of these top child and mother hospitals, it is very expensive to get a maternity done. But if you take it early, and this 25,000, when it grows over a period of time, you will see in the next 10 years, it can become 2.5 lakhs. Not even 10 years, let's take even a period of 5 years, you still get substantial coverage of 1.25 lakhs, which is actually unheard of in any other insurance plan. So that's why this Booster Plus with Miracle really makes a lot of sense. Get future ready. Buy today for your future spouse. Now here's a feature that's not just thoughtful, it's very futuristic. It's called Future Ready, and it's designed for people who are single today but plan to settle down tomorrow. When you buy the Aspire plan now, you're not just securing your coverage for yourself, you're also protecting your future family. Here's how it works. All the waiting periods you serve, that's the initial waiting period, which is 30 days. Pre-existing disease, if any, it could be up to 3 years. Specific illnesses, even the Miracle waiting period, they all get transferred to your spouse when they're added to your policy later. No repeat in waiting, no delays, no starting from zero. All they need is a marriage certificate and underwriting approval, and done. They're covered with your already earned policy benefits. You are not just buying a policy, you're gifting your future partner continuity, care, and protection from day one. When it comes to health insurance, waiting periods can be a major concern, especially when you're thinking ahead for your loved ones. If you could plan and start that today, you can eliminate that hurdle for tomorrow. Let's say you're the policy holder, you have been with Niva Bupa for 4 years. In that time, you have completed the waiting periods for all the major coverages, including pre-existing diseases, specified illness, and medical benefit. Now imagine you're getting married, you add your spouse to your plan, but here's where it gets interesting. Thanks to Future Ready feature, your spouse doesn't have to go through the usual waiting period. They immediately enjoy full benefits from day one. That means no waiting period for coverages on critical illness, no delay on pre-existing conditions, because of your loyalty has already earned those benefits for your partner. Now let's talk about Fast Forward, a feature that truly changes the game. Normally your health insurance coverage is split across policy years and you get a certain sum insured for each year and it resets annually. But what if you could break free from that timeline? With Fast Forward, you can. This benefit allows you to combine the sum insured across multiple tenures. Say for example, you take a 3-year policy and if you have a 10 lakh cover as a sum insured, you will be covered for 30 lakhs from day one. That's what Fast Forward actually does. So it really applies for your Miracle cover as well. So for example, if you have like a 50 lakh cover where your Miracle cover for maternity is 25,000, but if you pay the premium for 3 years, then your cover from day one will be 75,000 for maternity. So that's how Fast Forward actually works. Because a lot of people have asked me this, when I'm paying for 3 years, why can't I use the sum insured for 3 years in the very first year as if in case of an emergency? It is now possible with Niva Bupa Aspire plan where you could use the 3-year sum insured in the upfront itself. So when you look at the complete Miracle benefit in totality, if you look at, there are 4 things which really stands out. For me, the first thing is the comprehensive parenthood coverage. The second is the Future Ready. The third is the Booster Plus. And the fourth is the Fast Forward. So if you combine all these 4 things together, it becomes a very, very comprehensive plan for Niva Bupa, and especially for youngsters, it could be a great option to have. Now you have something called as an optional cover of CashBag. Again, it's very interesting when you look at this cover. When it comes to a claim-free year, every time the customers always have this issue when I'm not made a claim, what benefits do I get? Now, of course, you're getting increase in coverage, but here what you're also getting is 10% cashback on your premium, which can be utilized for, say, OPD cover. It can be utilized for paying your premium in the future, and can be utilized even for covering your deductible if you choose any. So what really happens is the first renewal you get 10%, and after that you get 5% for every renewal. So this is something which you can keep it like a wallet and which you can use it for your coverage for the future. Niva Bupa Aspire plan, I've also seen this got something called as Borderless cover. Borderless cover is nothing but getting treatment anywhere in the world. Again, it's a very interesting option available today. A lot of people people today want to go to say Singapore or even to the US to get treatments, especially when it comes to something like cancer treatment and all, which we have seen. Again, this is something which is possible in the Niva Bupa Aspire policy. Here, we also offer with co-payment options starting from 20% to 50%. So also it's available without any co-pay also, but of course there's a co-pay option because it could reduce the premium. But again, this is an optional cover, so it will also cover the price. The other very interesting thing which I personally like is lock the clock benefit. So lock the clock benefit, if you ask me, it comes with lock the clock or your Diamond Plus and Platinum Plus as well. And for a Titanium Plus, it comes with lock the clock plus benefit. So what is the difference between lock the clock and lock the clock plus is that the miracle cover also will not break the clock plus benefit, which is available in the Titanium Plus. So for me, Titanium Plus is the best plan to have when you look at the Niva Bupa Aspire plan itself. The lock the clock, what it really means is that unless I don't make a claim in the policy, my premium is stuck to the age that I entered into the policy. So for example, if I entered into the policy at the age of 25, and let me take an example that my premium was 10,000. So my premium will remain the same even if I'm at the age of 45. But there's only one point you need to remember here. It is not only to do with the age. There are two types of revision of premium that can happen in the health insurance policy. One is because of your age, and second is a product revision. So if there is a product revision that has happened, and if the premium is increased to say 12,000 for the 25-year-old, but though you're 45, you still pay the 12,000. So the revision of the product will apply for you, but the revision, the age-related increase will not happen till the time you have not made a claim in your policy. So that becomes a very, very big advantage when it comes to the option of having the lock the clock benefit in your policy. So there is a lot of the optional benefits which is there in the plan. I'm just going to list it down so that we don't miss any of them. First one is the cashback, which I already explained to you. If you take a cashback as your option, you will get that 10% off in your first renewal, and then of course 5% subsequently. You have Borderless cover, which will get you treatment anywhere in the world, which is with the co-payment option of 0% co-pay to 20, 30, 40, 50% co-pay. Future Ready, of course, is very, very interesting because Future Ready will enable you to add your spouse into the policy without any waiting periods. It's something which is fantastic. Fast Forward, of course, Fast Forward is something like taking a multi-tenure policy. You can take a multi-tenure policy. The difference is when you take a Fast Forward, the discount that is applicable for the multi-tenure is not applicable here if you take the Fast Forward. So that's the extra premium that you pay. You have to forgo your discount for getting the Fast Forward benefit. Of course, there are small deductibles also available in the policy. Small deductibles are actually very interesting if you look at it. A deductible is nothing but makes your policy more like a top-up kind of a cover. So if you can take a deductible of say 20,000, 30,000, 50 or a 1 lakh deductible, you get a substantial discount on your premium. So if you really feel that, I know claims are going to happen immediately and you don't have a problem in putting that money out there, that 20 or 30,000 rupees, so a deductible option is a great idea because it also reduces your premium significantly. Safeguard Plus is again a very interesting cover which is available today, and I strongly recommend that everybody takes a Safeguard Plus cover. Safeguard Plus cover today covers you for all consumables and non-medical expenses which is otherwise incurred during hospitalization. And this is something which is not only covered by Niva Bupa, but even today an HDFC and a Care Health and all companies are covering these non-medical expenses, because today the hospitals where we see a substantial expense coming in this particular space. In certain places I've seen it could be as high as 10 to 15%. So you can cover all those expenses with Safeguard Plus. And here in Niva Bupa, I have personally seen that the list 1, 2, 3, 4 is quite extensive and it really covers a lot of those expenses. And in fact, I just had a look at one of the claim settlements from a week prior. It was almost a 12 lakh claim at a very reputed corporate hospital, and the customer had to just pay 1 rupee and exit the hospital. That's pure 100% cashless, as you call it. So that's something which is very interesting. Also, personal accident covered. So personal accident also can be covered in the policy, and it is up to maximum 5 times of the base sum insured or up to 1 crore. Personal accident, again, if you ask me, there's again a lot of confusion when it comes to personal accident and critical illness, because people feel that, until unless you don't have personal accident, you are not covered for hospitalization expenses for accident. No, that's not true. Your hospitalization expenses for accident is already covered. So that is not an issue. It is just that there is a fixed benefit you get if you have a personal accident cover. Also, there are additional benefits like hospital daily cash. The cash benefit up to 4,000 per day can be availed. That's something which is very interesting to cover your incidental expenses. And Smart Plus extension, which is nothing but covering your diabetes and hypertension from day one. So this is again a very interesting coverage that you can option that you can choose if you have any pre-existing condition, something which is very important in that scenario. Again, coming to the basics of sum insured options, today Niva Bupa Aspire basically starts at about 5 lakhs and you have coverage up to 1 crore, and your Miracle sum insured, which starts at about 5,000 for a 5 lakh cover, which is your maternity cover majorly, and it can go up to 25,000 for a 1 crore kind of a policy. Now let's look at the benefit details. Now it's very important to understand the basic details of how a health insurance plan is designed and how it's going to help you. First and foremost thing is, everybody today talks about room rent, and this has been up for debate in a very big way, especially in social media, because of the problems that people have faced in the past, especially people who have had the major PSU policies where they have had this 1% capping for the room rent. And with the 1% capping, if you have a 5 lakh policy, you have just a 5,000 rupees, and today getting a 5,000 rupees room including nursing is next to impossible. So the Niva Bupa Aspire policy, if you look at today, does not have a room rent cap. So all room categories are covered, but again, let me be very careful here. There's a reasonable and customary clause always attached to it. So as long as we are going for a reasonable deluxe AC room, there should not be any problem in terms of the coverages itself. And the most important thing which I like about the plan is that 2 hours hospitalization is also now covered under the policy. Earlier, that clause of 24 hours hospitalization was so mandatory, and it was becoming very difficult for medical management, the treatment cost covered by the company. Here, if there is an active line of treatment that is there, and if it is even for, say, just about 2 hours, the Niva Bupa Aspire policy will cover for it. But this is again not applicable for your Ayush hospitalization. Ayush hospitalization, still a 24-hour coverage is very, very important. Now, again, for all inpatient hospitalization, you are covered up to sum insured. The most interesting feature now from a Niva Bupa and also the industry itself you look at today is something called as the restoration benefit, and I give a lot of credit to the erstwhile Apollo Munich policy where the Optima Restore came in, and now from there that whole concept of restoration, then refill, and every other company picked it up in some form or the other, and I think here Niva Bupa has picked it up in a ReAssure format and they call it ReAssure Forever. And what really has changed for Niva Bupa Aspire, if you look at it, is that when it came in the first form, it was only limited to one-time restoration or one-time refill up to the sum insured. Today, it's changed so much so. And also, another point, a lot of people were getting stuck is it's only ReAssure or restoration never given for the same illness. It is only given for other illness. So here, if you look at the ReAssure Forever benefit under the Aspire plan, it is given for unlimited number of times, and it is also given for the same illness. So the ReAssure gets triggered with the very first claim. So the first claim is done, the ReAssure gets triggered, and then from the second claim onwards, even if it's partially settled under the sum insured, you can claim under the restoration benefit. So that is something which I feel is very, very unique. And by the ReAssure benefit, in a way, you are getting that peace of mind and you're getting that coverage for a long period of time. So coming to the pre and post hospitalization expenses. Now, usually policies in the earlier times I'm talking about is to cover for 30 days for pre-hospitalization expenses and 60 days for post-hospitalization expenses. It was standard norm for many years. But today, I've seen the policies have grown a lot. And one of the good features of the Aspire policy also, it covers a 60-day window for pre-hospital expenses. That is, if I go for any planned surgery and there's a lot of tests that I did before my hospitalization and it is amounted to say 10, 20, 30, 40,000 rupees, I can still claim for those expenses after my main inpatient hospitalization is done. So that's my pre-hospital expenses, and I've got a window of 180 days for my post-hospitalization expenses. So 180 days is a good period. That's almost 6 months to, in case I need for my physiotherapy and all those expenses can be claimed under that period. So again, it's not very unique only to Aspire. A lot of the new age policies cover the same pre and post-hospital expenses. Annual health checkup, again, it's available from day one. There's a defined list of tests that's available. And again, it can be done only on a cashless basis. There's a beautiful app that Niva Bupa has, which will really enable you to book those health tests easily on the app itself. Organ donor, again, this is one of the core benefit that is there in the policy, organ donor expenses again covered up to the sum insured. Emergency ambulance, road ambulance, or even air ambulance is again covered under the policy. Modern treatments, there is a little bit of confusion in the market about modern treatments, because modern treatments usually came with certain supplements, because robotic surgeries add certain supplements and all that. Today, across industry, I can see that it is becoming a norm. There is no more sub-limits again on robotic surgeries, and again the 12 modern treatments as defined by IRDA. So now again these modern treatments are covered in the policy, and they do not have any restrictions in terms of any sub-limits as such. To live healthy, every insurer today wants to give benefits to the insured who are having a healthy lifestyle. Here again it is connected to the app, to the number of steps that you take. And I have seen personally some of my customers have taken benefit of this, and they've got discounts up to 30% on individual policies and family floaters up to 15%. That makes a whole lot of difference, because at a higher age, when you're paying higher value premiums, I think a 15% discount at the time of renewal makes a lot of difference for people, and something which I believe, something which you plan well, and a lot of people are into taking care of their health in a big way. And if you do that, I think this particular feature will really help you in a very big way. So now to put all of it into perspective, if you ask me, the Niva Bupa Aspire plan definitely suits young people who are less than 35 years of age, because of the maternity cover that it has, lock the clock benefit it has, the booster benefit, the future ready, and I think all these things are really good benefits to have in your policy. And when you are looking at buying an insurance, what my recommendation would be is to do a comparison with other products in the market. The other major products in the market, one is a Care Supreme, which is again a very good product, but does not have a few of these features which the Aspire has got. Then we have the Optima Secure from HDFC, and we have the ICICI Elevate. These are all very good plans, which I'm also going to be reviewing these plans in my series of insurance with Hari, and I'm going to put a lot of my inputs in terms of how all these plans pan out. But if you look at in totality today, when you understand the requirement for what you are getting into, the Aspire plan could be your single solution if you are in the age group of that 20 to 35 and you're ready to pay that little extra premium to ensure that you have a much more better, financially more secure future. So to know more, stay tuned with Insurance with Hari and subscribe to my channel, and please stay tuned for the new videos that will be up in my channel very soon. Thank you.